What's going on YouTube? This is Eric here with the TRD Squad guys, bringing you a Fusion Summoning 101 video. If you are new to the game or if you're a returning player, sometimes with all the summoning mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! It can get quite confusing. This is unlike any other game out there. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, it's not like MTG where you simply tap your mana, summon out a monster. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically the sky's the limit. As long as you got cards in your hand, as long as you got cards on the field and their effects can activate to do something, you can keep extending and bringing out monsters from the field. Yu-Gi-Oh is a very quick-paced game, and it's sometimes hard to get used to. So I'm doing a series of videos here. I'm going to be showcasing you guys how to fusion summon, how to synchro, XYZ, pendulum, link, and ritual. Now thanks to some new support out there. But anyways, guys, before we get into this fusion summoning video, I'm going to talk a little bit just about the what we call the normal summon or a set or a tribute summon. Now in Yu-Gi-Oh, when the game first came out, we had what we called a normal summon or a set. Now it was very important to know the levels of your monsters. Now if you look at these three cards I have here in my hand, if you look at the top right corner, you're going to see like these little Dragon Ball looking things. Now if you count those, that gives you the level of a monster. Now for example, Performance Trick Clown has 4, Skamata also has 4, and Blue Eyes White Dragon has 8. Now in Yu-Gi-Oh, if you have a level 4 or below, meaning if you got a 4, 3, 2, or 1, you can easily just normal summon that card to the side to your side of the field, and you don't have to do anything special, right? Your opponent can do it, you can do it as well. So level 4 or below, once again, just easily brings out to the field. If it's a level 5 or 6, it would require a tribute. What that means is if I wanted to bring out a level 5 or 6 monster to my side of the field, I would first have to tribute one off, or basically sacrifice it, sending it to the graveyard, to pay for the cost of the bigger monster coming out. Now, for example, Blue Eyes White Dragon here, who is a level 8, requires 2 tributes, meaning I must have 2 monsters on the field, which I can then tribute off, or send them to the graveyard to bring out Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can only normal summon, or you can only set, or you can only tribute summon just once per turn, and you can only do one of those once per turn. So let's say I'm playing a game here against my opponent. I decide to normal summon Squamata. If all I have is a Blue Eyes White Dragon and Trick Clan in hand, this is all I can do. I'm then forced to pass turn to my opponent. My opponent does whatever he or she wants to do, passes it back to me. I can then proceed to summon Performance Trick Clown. Now I do have 2 monsters on field, which basically means I can summon out Blue Eyes White Dragon. But since I've already used my normal summon this turn, I cannot tribute summon until my next turn, which means I gotta pass her to my opponent. My opponent does whatever he or she does, passes it back to me. At this point, now I can then proceed to tribute summon these 2 cards to finally bring out Blue Eyes White Dragon, who is a big beefy monster, one of the OGs in the game. Right? Now what you can see is that it took me 3 whole turns to bring out one big monster. If my opponent had played cards like Dark Hole or something like that with me, Blue Eyes White Dragon would have just stayed in my hand. So as you can see, the game progressed very slowly, so Konami invented ways to bring out monsters a lot faster, and this is what we call a special summon. Now under those special summon mechanics, we're going to discuss fusion summoning today. Now fusion monsters are characterized or distinguished by the color of their cards. They're always purple. Also in their text box, you're always going to see the word fusion as well. Let's see if we can get that to focus there. There we go. It says fusion. All right. And then underneath the fusion, you're going to see that it also gives you the requirements for this card to be fusion summon. For example, El Shaddoll Construct here requires a Shaddoll monster plus 1 light monster. El Shaddoll Window requires a Shaddoll monster as well, but 1 dark monster. And then Blue Eyes Twin Brush requires 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons. But now how do you fusion summon these cards from your extra deck? Well, cards like Polymerization that give you the effects that read special. Let's see if we can get it to focus there. And it says fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Also, cards like Shaddoll Fusion do the same thing, but these cards also have other abilities. Super Polymerization allows you to use cards from your opponent's side of the field to fusion summon, which is pretty cool. Instant Fusion requires no fusion materials. You simply just pay 1,000 life points and you fusion summon 1 card that's level 5 or below. And we got cards like El Shaddoll Fusion, which actually allows you to fusion summon on your opponent's turn, so that's a really cool card as well. But anyways, all these cards basically share the exact same ability that give you the effect or give you the ability to fusion summon 1 monster using cards from your hand or your field as material. So now if we go back to my first example, let's say it is my first turn, I'm playing my opponent. I summon out Squamata here. If I have Polymerization in my hand, I can then attempt to activate Polymerization. If it is successful, I will tell my opponent I'm going to go to fusion summon a fusion monster from my extra deck. I'm going to use Squamata, who's on my field. And I'm also going to use Performance Trick Clown, who is in my hand, as material. These 2 cards would go to the graveyard. and I would simply fusion summon out El Shaddai Construct. Now El Shaddai Construct is a monster with 2800 attack with two very cool effects as well. And he's a lot better than Trick Clown or Squamata, which both have 1800 or 1600 attack. Right, they're two very weak monsters. So as you can see, in my turn one play, I bring out a very super big beefy monster with two cool effects as well. This allows the game to progress a lot faster, and also makes it a lot more funner once you start bringing out more cards like this. Now, if you've ever played Shaddolls before, you know that you can do a lot more than just Construct in one turn. You can basically bring out your entire extra deck all in one turn, right? That's the way Shaddolls work. But once again, this is just a very basic video here, just showing to you guys how you would fusion summon. I could have also used cards like Shaddoll Fusion as well. I could have used a card like El Shaddoll Fusion. Now, for example, I'm going to showcase to you guys the Instant Fusion card. Basically, Instant Fusion just says pay 1,000 life points, and you can fusion summon one monster from your extra deck, but it has to be a level 5 or below. So what you would just do is just turn opponent, I'm going to activate Instant Fusion here, and thus you can bring out Winda, who is not that very strong, but he has a very cool ability that says your opponent cannot summon more than one monster per turn. And so this will limit your opponent, right? Two very good cards, easy to bring out thanks to cards like polymerization in these fusion cards as well, right? And so that's basically the first concept of fusion summoning. However, though, there are cards like Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon that do not require polymerization, but are considered to be fusion monsters. Now, Blue Eyes Twin Burst here in this card effect, it reads, let's see if I can get it to focus so you guys can read it as well. It says, must be either fusion summon or special summon by sending the above monsters you control to the graveyard, in which case you do not use polymerization. So in order to complete the Blue Eyes Twin Burst fusion summon, I would simply just have to have two Blue Eyes cards on my field. I would then send these two cards to the graveyard, telling my opponent I'm going to go ahead and fusion summon out Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, like so, without polymerization required. This is still considered to be a fusion summon or a special summon as well, right? Once again, just showcasing to you guys how it works as well. There are some cards that sort of bend the rules or go above the rules. Cards like Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon are some of those monsters that do so. However, though, for the most part, there are a lot of cards that do require cards like polymerization, El Shaddoll Fusion, just cards like that as well. There's numerous fusion cards out there, guys. The best way to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! Is also just to go and start playing it with your friends, playing it at your locals as well. But I hope this video sort of just explains to you guys the very basics of fusion summoning and how it works. And now in today's game, we also have cards like Shaddai Construct, who is a monster card, but it has a very cool effect that allows you to fusion summon using monsters from your hand in your field as well. Right, just another way that Yu-Gi-Oh! Or that Konami extended the fusion summoning mechanic, right? Lines to just use monsters now, or monsters that have those abilities that activate that allows you to fusion summon, guys. But there's just so many ways out there to fusion summon. Once again, the best way to do is just to pick up some cards, start playing it. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about fusion summoning, maybe you want to pick up a fusion deck, I strongly recommend picking up the Shaddol deck. You can simply pick it up by buying 3 of your Shaddol structure decks, which are $10 a piece. And honestly, that's a very good budget deck that's also very, very, very competitive. And still is competitive in today's meta as well. And it's all about fusion summoning. It's a great way to learn it, easy way to learn it as well. But anyways, guys, this has been it. If you stay tuned, if you guys subscribe to my channel, I'm also going to have more videos coming out where I'm going to showcase you guys how to XYZ summon, how to Synchro, Pendulum, Link, and also Ritual. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found this video a little bit beneficial to you. Hopefully you learn a little bit more about fusion summoning. If you do, you make sure you hit that like button. Comment down below as well with anything you want to see in the future. And if you haven't, guys, once again, subscribe to my channel. It's going to give me that motivation to continue making content for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.